Good Saturday morning, and welcome to Ice Age TV. Wow, it's Saturday already? Wow, goodness gracious, how time just ticks away, doesn't it? Here we are on a actually very overcast, warm, moist Saturday, and I think today is going to be rain today. So for those that had the Saturday activities, you're probably kind of not so happy up here in this Virginia, Maryland, D.C. area. But here we go. Here we go as the dogs chase the birds. And so far, it hasn't been radical. I mean, birds definitely are in the barn, but it hasn't been radical like it was last year, thank God. I think it's because I've been home. It's just incredible how we really did used to travel so much more, and that's all changed. It really has. And, I mean, having all these dogs definitely has put a hamper on it. So, it is interesting how times progress, how things do change in our life. And so for me, the traveling days just seem to have kind of come to a kaput. But oh, such is life. So let's get in here and see the big doggies and the puppies and get the day going. And I'll be right back, everybody. Well, howdy doody. Where is Diesel? That cheater ran off on me. Yes, he's upstairs or something here. All right, let's get the routine going on the Saturday morning routine. I think the Diesel boy's upstairs in the kids' room. And so, wow, it is a nice day. A little bit of a breeze. It is dry weather. Wear a t-shirt. Not everybody's starting to wear their shorts and their sandals. And that's kind of going to come to an end because this coming week, literally this coming week, we're back in the 50s. We're in the 20s at night, 40s. So we're going to get a cold spell coming through here, which is so for this area with all the dogs. But what happened to Diesel? Diesel just kind of has gone to do his own thing here this morning. So I don't really know what's going on with that. I guess he and the kid are hanging out together. Hey, Diesel! He's a character. He's kind of getting that age where he's kind of getting a little bit more laid back. And he's a big boy. And actually yesterday he went in with the wife and hung out. It was classic. He hung out with my wife, and my wife the whole time thought it was Rebel. So I called over to the wife, said, "Hey, is Diesel in there?" She says, "No, Rebel. Rebel's here with me." I was like, "No, that's Diesel." She's like, "No, it's Rebel." She calls him Revelation. And then she calls Diesel, she calls him a different name. I can't even remember the damn name. Bravo. She calls Diesel Bravo. So it's like, no, Bravo is with you, not Rebel. Come on, get up here. Hey, what's going on, Will? Come on. You think you left out of the party or something, buddy? You think I'm gonna abandon your butt? Yeah. So even the wife can't keep track of what all these animals are. Oh my gosh. So this is the Saturday morning trash run. So it's not really a wrong video, but you know what? Put the dog food down for the puppies because it's what they're expecting for breakfast. Here you go, little troublemaker. Now, funny, not everybody has showed up for breakfast, but I'll just put it down because I think they'll make their rounds and get in here. But yeah, it's not a really lengthy conversation morning, but I think it is interesting. Wow, what we're... I mean, you have to honestly say, with Donald Trump coming to office, there's never a dull moment in our country at this point. Because between Elon Musk and Donald Trump, has the chaos arrived? Actually, somebody said that Donald Trump said he'd be the most disruptive president in modern times. So truly, his position is he's going to create havoc. And you know, you have to honestly say that, is he creating havoc? He sure is. Now, I just don't watch the news, everybody. I don't. I just can't do it. It just makes you mad. I know people may see the Fox Business News in my shop in the background, but that's just because I'm just kind of hearing. I just like to have the TV on, all sincereness. I just have the background of the Fox Business News, but I really don't sit there and watch it per se much. I was interested to watch the markets as the whole stock market is crashing. And, I mean, crazy. What was it, like a 2,000 plus stock drop? But here's something interesting that Scott Bassett made a comment, and I think most people are probably in tune with this, but it was an interesting statistic. So Scott Bessent was saying yesterday that it's 10% of the people in this country own 88% of the stock of our publicly traded stocks. I was like, wow. But then he said the other 12% is held by the other 40% of the country. So that makes 50% of our country. So then he said 50% of the country holds all the debt. Wow. Isn't that something? So over basically half the country's that, basically in dire straits of heavy debt, while the other half of the country, really the 10%, have all the money and all the wealth and all these companies, and a very small percentage of 40% of the population has just a minuscule 12% of the rights to all these publicly traded companies. So that was kind of an interesting thing to see and hear. So it's interesting. Diesel is definitely enamored. He's probably with my wife. No, he couldn't get back there. His outdoors closed. I guess he's there with Julia. I guess he's hanging upstairs doing something naughty, being that she's probably in the shower, and he's probably terrorizing all of her clothes. You know what I mean by that. So here these guys are now in here. But like I say, it really won't be a long video, but I do like to keep the morning conversation just kind of going, because there's always something going on. I mean, there's always something going on. So, here we go. From when one thing I saw shoot across a news screen was, so I guess all the car companies are already bending. They're already freaking out. But apparently Ford has immediately announced that everybody now gets employee pricing to offset the tariffs. And now Stellantis, which is the Jeep, Ram, Dodge, Chrysler, Fiat, well, I should say more on this state side, the Jeep, Ram, Dodge, Chrysler brand, they're going to do the same thing. Everybody gets employee pricing. So now the craziness is going to happen because everybody and brother now is going to justify running down to the car dealership as fast as possible to go buy yet another car. And the spouses will have arguments over it, but the one spouse will be talking about, oh, we have to buy the new car now, honey, because if we don't, once they clean out all this inventory with this employee pricing, I'm not so sure it's going to last, honey. And the odds are the next round of cars coming in, it's going to be a bloody fortune, honey. It's time to go buy that new car, babe. Let's go do it. So I guess the dealerships are going to have their heyday because they're going to start giving away cars. But then in the end, how long can they continue to afford to give away cars and have their stocks and the stockholders feel good about how they're now giving away product just to move product, just to stay above water because of the craziness of Donald Trump that's created havoc in the world markets of now wanting to retaliate and go tariff to tariff and wants to now force the hand that don't be so lucky to sell products in our country unless you pay us a nice fee to do that. Wow. And so what really goes along with that with me in my world is if you look around, so all the value of my cars, nothing's going to actually happen. And in some ways, the value of the used car market in some ways may continue to take a little hit where maybe it kind of is flooded, meaning so many people go in and trade in their used cars for new cars, but now the used car market is very oversaturated. So the used car market probably isn't going to see the heyday of so many like me thinking these tariffs would give me a price increase on all the things I own. Well, I'd have to say that's probably not going to happen for quite a while. I think that's now probably 6 months, a year in the pipeline at best. And who even knows? And does Donald Trump even really hold the line on the 25%, which for this guy, Donald Trump, this guy changes his mind from one day to the next in so many ways. So it's going to be really interesting now to hear all the stories of all the car dealerships seeing the rerun of the pandemic or the rerun of the Cash for Clunkers. Because once again, but here's the thing, these cars have gotten so expensive that it's still going to be an extensive purchase, even with employee pricing. I mean, employee pricing, I would imagine it's a 10% discount. Is it a 20 or 30? I really don't know. I'm not an employee of Ford or General Motors or any of those big automotive groups. But my guess is it's just an automatic 10%, or is it invoice pricing? Yeah, but really, what is? You'll never know what the invoice pricing is. Do you think the owners of these dealerships are ever going to share with the GMs of what the real actual price is that they pay for these cars? Well, you'll never know. They're never going to tell you that. Why would they? They don't have to do that. Why do they have to tell you that? And I just cracks me up how so many guys, all these owners of these dealerships are multi-millionaires, borderline billionaires, and they just continue to buy up another dealership, like Tim Burke Honda. Fred, that owns that Tim Burke Honda, he's a huge car mega guy, and he's buying up car dealerships left and right. Why would he be buying up car dealerships left and right if it's such a losing industry? That's what cracked me up last year, is all these YouTubers riding around telling everybody that all the car industry's going broke. Car dealerships, the used car market, yes. New car dealerships, no. Well, what happened? Well, we had a decline in people buying new cars. They got so expensive. So the used car market got very harder to get used cars. I mean, it's just a no-brainer. I'm not in the used car business, but my own common sense would say that if I have a used car dealer lot, that I used to get the Iceman guys' cars all day long, but now everybody's holding on their cars forever because the new cars are so expensive, then now I'll find that the wholesale auctions are high-mileage cars that are still very pricey, and it's hard to bring that back to my car lot and convince a person a car has 80,000 miles on it, like you saw during the pandemic, saw me buying those used Ram trucks and other vehicles for high dollar money. That all went away. Oh, here he is. Here's the boy. See here? He knows. Diesel knows that Prince is the boss, which I'm glad. We don't need two Princes, because that Prince, you have no idea one day how that radical it got one day, and I about broke my arm pulling those dogs apart. So for Diesel, he learned a hard lesson, and that Prince, that dog has the strength of a jaw I've never owned. Remember, I used to see Kiefer. I'd buy Kiefer tennis balls and all these other balls. And this guy here, he destroys them like instantly. His jaws are like the power of a jaw. I mean, there's an orange ball around here somewhere where he crushed. You see this orange ball? Kiefer never ever crushed one of these rubber balls right here. This guy, Prince, he can crush and flatten that orange ball. That's how strong his jaws are. And one morning, good old Diesel boy here got into it with Prince, and Prince locked him down like you can. I mean, it was very concerning. I was like, oh boy, here we go. We may have a serious problem, because if one of them doesn't give in, this is not going to be good. And so Prince, for the record, he's the king, and you just witnessed on how Diesel gets it. He understands. Thank God. So yeah, and I pulled my arm out like you can't believe, getting them, broken apart. I mean, I know the story. If you have enough time when you're halfway across the property to go get a bucket of water as they're in a major confrontation, and run back and fill up a bucket of water and run back and throw water. Yeah, okay, right. These people throw out these ideas like, oh really? Yeah, I could do that. Yeah, just like you're in an airplane and it's in a crash. Magically, you have a parachute appears in your lap. All right, so dogs really aren't that hungry, as you can see. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to let the other dogs out, and I got to get the trash going and get the morning going here. And so, but, back to the car stories, so for me, yeah, oh well, there's just nothing, there's no silver lining to my life where I say, okay, now I've got something to bring to the table that has value, and it makes sense to get rid of it. But in all reality, I really don't wish to get rid of much more stuff, but I really am down the page. I think I'm just going to get rid of all my motorcycles. I'd rather keep my cars and just get rid of the motorcycles. I've been riding motorcycles my whole life, and yeah, if I kept one, maybe. I don't know. I just have kind of had my day with the motorcycles, so I don't know. So for me right now, I'm more kind of like, do I just get rid of all the bikes? Because I'd rather keep my nice Gold Rush, my nice Mustang, my TRX, my nice Plum Crazy. I'd rather keep what I have and just sacrifice the bikes. And you know what? I've done some research on that, and actually I'm in a pretty good position of trying to make that kind of play out. Not today, but down the road. And And it's just, you know, it is what it is. And I had my fun of having just way too much stuff. So like I say, I don't want to get rid of Camaro Z20. So now I'm at the point that the stuff that starts going by now, it's just the motorcycles. If I have to cross the bridge, like, nah, time to get rid of that stuff. That stuff just sits all the time. All right, so I'm gonna drive. I love this Ram TRX truck because it's so burly, and I love the exhaust note on it. I love on how I was able to get this thing at Mac and Cheese. I love how Mac and Cheese made this thing right. All right, I just love the grunt. Come on. Like good old Hellcat. Now that's what gets me excited in the morning. You know, when you get out of bed in the morning, what gets you going the day? That right there is what gets me excited in the morning. Trucks. I'm truly a truck guy. And to have that Ram TRX supercharged, I mean, come on. I have never would have dreamed in my lifetime I'd own a truck supercharged. And factory, and just all get out fun as hell. So I got to get this thing pulled in the garage. Just amazing how much trash is accumulated. And the dogs, the older dogs are here eating away. So, but that's it, everybody. Just like to say good morning on Saturday. Share the ongoing thoughts and conversations. So everybody, hope everybody has a really nice Saturday. I got tons of projects to do around this property, which that's what I'm going to do. Taking care of the house. So God bless. Have a great day.